So you want to know how long it takes to get good at calisthenics, or how long does it take to get strong or flexible or fit? Well, it isn't what a lot of people think. And today we're going to go deep into this topic and really debunk the myths and give you some good insight.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.
Hey everyone, in case we haven't met, my name's Rad Burmeister. I'm joined today with my brother, Yanni Burmeister. We are the co-founders of Unity Gym and the co-creators of the UMS, the Unified Movement System, where we turn driven people into superhumans. The way we do that is that we've created a program that has a balance between strength and flexibility. If you want to know how we do it, you can grab one of the blueprints, the flexibility blueprint, strength blueprint, or nutrition blueprint. They're free to download. Or join our private Facebook group, the UMS Movement Mastermind, where you can ask us anything, post videos for critique, and join in on these shows live. Get the behind the scenes and ask any questions that you want. And today we're talking about how long does it take to learn calisthenics or any physical skill, really, because we've had some great questions.
Absolutely. Quick shout out to everyone joining us live on the stream in the UMS Movement Mastermind.
Yanni's not ready for me, where we've both had a go at each other for ranting for like 10 minutes while the other one sits there, and I can see Yanni's sitting there expecting me to go on a 10-minute rant, and then I pass the ball over to him, and he goes, "What?"
Pass the baton, so to speak.
Yeah,
welcome, Roger. Let us know who's watching on the live stream. We want to know. Big shout out to everyone on the podcast listening, and big shout out to everyone on YouTube watching the replay. We are going large on these shows, and I'm excited. How cold is it? It's winter. It's coming into winter in Australia here. It started to snow, not in Sydney, but in New South Wales.
Yeah,
and
the worst thing is it always gets a hell of a lot colder. And what's even worse is that if we told anyone in North America that we're whinging about the cold right now, they'd probably bitch slap us. I remember I used to say that to Kellen, and I can't remember where he came from, but it was right up in North America, and he reckons it got to like minus 30 in.
But it's about the contrast method, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's about the contrast methodology or principle, the principle of far out.
The principle of contrast.
Contrast, yeah. You know, and what I'm saying by that, and this carries over to all facets of life. If you hold your hand in a hot cup of water or hot bowl of water, and then you move it into a cold,
into a warm bowl of water.
Into a warm bowl of water,
cold.
It feels cold.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Whereas if you
hold it in a cold bowl of water and move it to a warm bowl of water, it feels
hot.
Yeah.
You know, that's exactly right. And you know, I was in Europe in December. And it was, the middle of the winter, and you know, it was very cold, but because you get used to it, it doesn't feel that bad.
Kellen used to tell me how in winter it was like minus 30 where he was from, and degrees Celsius, so I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. But then in spring, it would get to, you know, or even maybe early summer, it would get to just above zero. So the snow would just start melting, which in Sydney is still considered freezing for us. And people would be walking around in flip-flops and shorts and a singlet because like the sun's out and it's getting warm. Whereas if we went over there, we'd be like in ski gear, you know.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
Right. Steve quickly has asked us, where is the big table? Love seeing our legs, but it is coming back, mate. The studio, I'm racing to get everything ready to build the studio on the weekend. So it's
you're going to see a whole new studio next week.
There's a lot going on.
We're going to do a reveal within the next couple of weeks, actually, because we've been holding off on doing a walk through our gym with all these renovations until it was all finished, but it's all going to be finished soon.
Yep.
Let's jump into these questions, because today's show, we're thinking about what are we going to do a show about, and what we always do is we scour the UMS online coaching private Facebook group, which is an exclusive group for those that are subscribed to the UMS online coaching program. It's where we provide the highest level of our coaching, whereas the UMS Movement Mastermind, anyone can join as long as you agree to the terms and conditions of the group.
It's where we teach those who are ready how to fish.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So we always go there for questions first for topics for this show. And we got a really good one from Connor O'Shea, who is absolutely killing it with the Muscle Up Masterclass right now. He's working hard on the Muscle Up Masterclass. Same with him and Alex Seabrook. And they've both had their first muscle ups recently from the class. And they've both asked some really good questions, which is really important for us to go a little bit deeper into. So Connor's question, and Connor, if you're watching, I'd love to know, did you get your first muscle up from doing this program, or did you just perfect your muscle ups that you already had? I'd love to know. So Connor's saying, hey Rad, have you guys any videos on the forward roll on the rings? If you don't know what that is, it's basically where you're on the gymnastics rings and you do a somersault, but slow and controlled. I feel
Still holding on to the rings.
Still holding on to the rings, yep. I feel I'm probably at a level to try this skill now, so would love to add it in and get into some sweet ring flows. I feel you, brother. That is what we want for you. We want you to be doing sweet ring flows. It's something that we love to do on the rings ourselves, and we can definitely teach you that stuff. But what we want to talk about first is this concept of how long does it take to learn a skill, and the way that we have progressed with our muscle up training and what's worked really well for Yanni, Richard, myself, and our members that we've taught muscle ups is.
Can I cut in here?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's really important that we frame this correctly.
Okay.
I don't want people to think that we're holding you back just for the sake of holding you back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both Rad and myself, I'm not sure if Richie did, but both Rad and myself caused a year stifling shoulder injury progressing on the rings.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was a pretty severe, I think it was a 16 millimeter wide, inch long tear in my supraspinatus. And for Rad, it was a little bit different, but both were injury, the type of shoulder injury that takes the better part of a year. It stifles your progress for the entire year.
Yep.
You spend 3 months really in deep rehab.
Stops you in your tracks for 3 months.
And then for the other 6 to 9 months, you're working to get back to where you were before. And I'm still not there yet. I did a heavy workout on Monday, and it's aggravated my shoulder again. My injury was done mid last year, early last year. I think it was in March or April last year. And so I want to just remind everyone about the concept of load management. It's always good to have Phil on the shows when we're talking about this sort of stuff. He will be here he's actually coming in straight after this show, but he'll be here on Friday. You got to remember that although you can do the movement now, although you can do the muscle up, the central nervous system has adapted sufficiently, the muscular system has adapted efficiently. That does not mean that you're ready to progress.
Yep.
Because you've got to remember that the deeper tissues, the more robust connective tissues in the joints that are holding everything together, not creating movement, not sending signals to the muscle. I speak of the nervous system and the global muscles. The things that are holding everything together and providing stability on a deep level are not there yet. They're not at the same level. They haven't caught up yet. And that process can take years to happen.
Yep.
Meaning that you have to do the basics for a lot longer than you feel you should be doing it for.
Or another way to say it is, you work your way for months up to doing a muscle up, and all of a sudden now in every workout you can do a muscle up, so you start thinking, what's next?
Yeah.
You're not there yet.
Yeah.
You need to do muscle ups, so that you own it, so that your body becomes completely conditioned to being able to do it, and the muscle up becomes as easy for you as the pull up was.
Yeah.
Which the pull up has to be easy if you're going to be doing muscle ups. That has to be something that's
right.
like child's play for you. You know.
That's right. And there are lots of different ways that we do that. Greasing the groove is one of them. Rad's doing that at the moment for his bench press. And, I've watched him bench press 80 kilos for like 2 months now. And even in my head, with my knowledge, I look at him and go, man, you are ready to start benching more than 80 or 85 kilos. But he's coming back from a really severe shoulder injury, and he's putting the groundwork in, building the foundation so that those joint tissues that he injured a year ago are really ready to go 100, 120, heavier bench press.
Yep.
And it can be frustrating. It can be frustrating, but it is the difference between you doing what you love forever or doing what you love for a very short amount of time.
Yeah, that's exactly
You
right.
know?
Yeah, and
Okay, continue.
Yeah, and so I'm really happy that Yanni said all of that, because it does give great context to what I'm about to say in it. And I'm, as Yanni always says, I shoot first and aim later. So what we're going to get you to do, Connor, for a while, and you have to have finished phase 3 of the Muscle Up Masterclass. I'm not sure if you have, but you have to have finished it, and you have to be able to do the required reps for the sets and everything within phase 3. The next phase, what we're going to be doing is you're going to go back to a regular bent arm strength workout, but the workout starts with 30 minutes on the clock of as many muscle ups as you can do. And what we want to see is when most people start that, they find it very hard to get more than 10 to 15 muscle ups in 30 minutes. But within one phase, you get up to 20 to 30. And we really want to see that you get to 30 muscle ups in 30 minutes, which means and you can do it in so many ways. You can do a muscle up every minute. You can do 2 muscle ups every 2 minutes, or you can do 3 muscle ups every 3, whatever you want to do. Yeah. And those are different ways to play around with it. When I started, I was doing 1 every 2 minutes. Then I went 1 every 1.5 minutes, then 1 every minute, then 2 every 2 minutes. And, because it's obviously harder to do more in one set. And by the time you get to that 30 muscle ups in 30 minutes, where you're doing sets of 3 or 4 reps, you really, really have some good strength.
This is where you experience the transformation from a muscle up.
Yeah.
This is up until now. It's like, you don't understand. Like when you were learning, let's just really scale this back, and let's imagine that get rid of the muscle up, which is a very highly complex upper body movement. Let's go back to squatting. Okay, when you were learning how to do a barbell back squat, everything you've done up until now is just to be able to do a barbell back squat. And then once you learn how to do a barbell back squat with good form and technique, now it's time to start loading it. Now it's time to start progressing it and to start actually reaping the rewards of that movement. To hypertrophy places in your shoulders and in your body that haven't had that yet. To condition the tissues in your wrists and forearms and elbows that haven't had the volume yet to really reap the benefits of being able to do that movement. So far, the amount of volume that you've done is very, very small in comparison to a true workout using a movement where you start to really condense the volume into every workout. So from where we sit, once you get through that Muscle Up Masterclass, you've only just learned how to squat. You've only just learned to be able to put a barbell on your back and go down with 0 weight. Yeah. Now it's about putting weight on that barbell.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is I've messed this up so many times. Yanni's messed it up so many times. So's Richard. Richard probably less. Richard's more patient than us. Richard is probably naturally the best out of this from Yanni and I, from the three of us. Richard just has a natural disposition where he just does the work and he just turns up and gets it going, and it's definitely a great asset of his. Yanni and me we've always been the on to the next thing kind of guys, so it's been hard for us to learn this. But yeah, it's the thing that inspired this show is that we wanted to talk about, it's not just about learning the skill. It's not just about when you get the skill. It's once you've got the skill, doing it enough that you own it and that it becomes something that you can do without injuring yourself. Yeah. And it took, and I mean, this is why some people say, oh, I can't deadlift. I got injured when I was deadlifting. That's rubbish. Look, there is a very, very, very small percentage of people that this might be right for, but let's forget that 1% of the population and let's talk about everybody else. It's not the deadlift that injured you. It's that you constantly tried to lift more and more and more weight until you injured yourself. Yeah. You didn't start the deadlift.
Or you lifted with really shitty form and technique in the first place and didn't understand the movement itself.
Yeah, that's right.
It's very rarely an exercise that injures you. It's doing it with piss poor load management or piss poor form and technique. Yeah.
So Connor, that's where you're at, brother. I hope that's given you some good insight, and I'm going to help you with that. Of course, I'm going to help you write your custom program from here so that you know what to do on the bent arm strength days. And brother, let me tell you, it starts getting really fun from here. It starts getting really, really exciting. You know,
Yeah.
when you get to this point in the UMS where you're learning these skills and you're like, oh man, what's the next thing? It's really
I
the
use
journey
muscle
is,
ups now in my cardio circuit. I don't even use them as my primary movement, or very rarely I do. You know,
Yep.
I use them as a means of overload because it's just a great way of adding explosive movement into a circuit. And it's cool. So Roger Talevsky's saying Richard's younger, which is probably true. But usually the young ones are the dumb ones, Rog. You know that.
Muscle ups all day, bro.
Roger's asked, did you get your camera? I'm assuming the one we're streaming from is the brand new Sony A6100, which is a brilliant camera.
Did the other ones come?
We've also got two more Sony A5100s there.
But we're finishing off the podcast studio before we set those up. So we're probably anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks away from, because we have to order that other equipment as well, from having this set up in a way where we're going to have multiple angles. So when you're watching, you won't just be looking at a fixed angle of Yanni and me. When I'm talking, you'll be looking at a very television production level angle of me, and vice versa with Yanni.
Watch this space.
Watch this space, guys.
So, but yes, Roger, this is now 1080p. We are, if you saw the computer rig that we're buying for this stream, for these streams, because we're going to be doing a lot more of this. We're going to be doing a lot more for our group. I'm trying. My grandmother, my beautiful grandmother, is trying to call me on FaceTime, and it keeps freezing my computer. I keep hanging up on her.
That's hilarious. Okay, so let's jump into our next question, which is in the same thread of Connor's question, where Alex Seabrook has jumped in and asked a question because he's just hit his first muscle up from following the Muscle Up Masterclass. And he's said, if the gyms were to open again within the next few months, what would you recommend? For me, I was thinking cycling between Muscle Up Masterclass and weights as one mesocycle each, or doing a combination of one weight and one muscle up session per week. And Alex is just working on phase 1 of the progressions program in the muscle up. And it's a great question, Alex, but this really ties in with what we want to talk about today. When you choose a skill that you want to do, and for you right now, the skill is the muscle up, that's the skill that you want. Just because you got your first muscle up does not mean you start chopping and changing between things, because you're still only in phase 1 of the muscle up program. You need to laser focus on this program until exactly the process that we just described happens for you. So no, I don't think that you should chop and change between weights and muscle ups. I think the gymnastics rings and those muscle up masterclasses are more than enough to build an exceptional upper body physique. They are an advanced way of building an upper body physique. So hats off to you and Connor that you've even done the work to be able to do this stuff. You know, this is advanced stuff we're talking here. The progressions program is. The foundations part of the Muscle Up Masterclass isn't. That's beginner, but the progressions phase is. So what you need to do, brother, is just double down on this and keep going until you get through to the end of phase 3, and then you're going to follow the same steps that we just spoke about for Connor, because when you want to learn a new skill, we highly recommend that you set aside 6 months. And for 6 months, you focus on that one skill. Yeah. And that means that you still have a generalist approach. You still do the UMS, but everything is geared towards the skill that you want to learn. So in this case, it means that your bent arm strength workouts on Monday and Thursday are all about the muscle up.
Yeah. Yeah, look, one of the things that I was really pleased by was one of the guys that we believe provides a lot of value in the industry is Daniel Vadnal from Fitness FAQs. He's got a great YouTube channel. If you don't know him, check him out. He was meant to be up here doing a workshop with us until coronavirus cancelled everything. He posted a video recently of his 10-year journey into calisthenics. And one of the things that I really admired was how much he reinforced that for the first 4 of those years, all he did was pull-ups. And push-ups.
Pull-ups and push-ups.
And the basic stuff that just over and over and over again, insane amounts of volume build a foundation of good strength. And, it's so easy to get distracted by the next shiny object and to get bored with what you're doing. But it's... it really comes down to, what do you want to do? Do you want to entertain yourself, or do you want to get really, really good results?
Yeah.
Do you want to really, really become a master of what you're doing, a master of movement, or do you want to just entertain yourself and look cool on social media. You know?
Yeah, and I love. There's a saying that I heard from Bruce Lee decades ago when I was in my martial arts years, in one of his interviews, and what he said is, time goes by, there's nothing that you can do about that. But you have control over what you do with your time, and what you do with your time is either going to turn you into the person that you've always aspired to be, or somebody that you don't aspire to be.
Yep.
So there's so much in that saying, and if you really think about it, that's something that I've let run through my head over the last couple of decades many times, and it's really helped me stay on track.
That 6 months will go by so quickly. Roger Delevsky said 6 months every day, right? That depends. You wouldn't do 6 months every day of the same movement. What Rad said before is really important to understand. You would still be training legs. You'd still be training your straight arm scapular strength. But the focal point for your bent arm strength will be on that skill. Or if your skill that you're trying to unlock right now is the handstand, then you'll really build your workouts around the straight arm scapular strength.
You might do 4, 5 or 6 days a week, depending on how much your body can handle.
Yeah.
But that could even be like, Roger, like if the squat was something that you really wanted to get better at, you might be squatting 3 days a week, 2 or 3 days a week, and you'd build your program around that. So it doesn't mean every day, but it means that it becomes like when you sit down and create your program, that is the consideration that comes before everything else. How do I make my squat better? How do I get the muscle up? How do I do this? And then the programming
recently, I wanted to improve my strength on the barbell, on the bar muscle up. And so I did a Grease the Groove month where every day that I was at the gym, which is sort of 5 days a week, I aimed to do 30 bar muscle ups. And I would just do it every hour. I'd go out and do 3 until I got my sort of banked my 30, because I'm here usually for 10 to 12 hours a day. And it just produces insane results. Now, I did that 5 days a week. And it's that's something that you can do once you're at that level where the skill is easy for you, like very easy. It can't be a grind to do those reps, because a lot of the time you're doing them completely cold. So I would start by just hanging for a few seconds, do a couple of rotational single arm hangs like monkey hangs, which really engages your rotator cuff. It tells your rotator cuff, okay, there's work to be done here. It fires everything up. Combination of the grip and the decompression and hang is what does that. And then I'd go in and do my 3 muscle ups. And I did it for a month. And like by the end of it, I could do about 8 bar muscle ups really easily, without much like kip at all, in a row,
Yeah. Caleb Guinery has asked a question. He's a new member of the UMS Movement Mastermind, and he's just purchased the Mobility Masterclass bundle. Thank you, brother. Thank you for the support, and you're going to really enjoy this if you want to get flexible. And he's asked a good question that, again, ties into what we're talking about today. I just purchased the Mobility Masterclass. It has 2 different sections, the Mobility Masterclass and the End Range Strength. Do you do both of these in a workout? There is 2 different programs for each one. I am just looking at what the best way to go about getting very flexible is. Any help would be appreciated. Thanks. You absolutely do not do both of them in the one workout. They are extremely intense workouts. And what you do is, at your level, you'll start with the Mobility Masterclass Phase 1. So you've got a middle splits, pancake, and back bridge workout there. You can do the back bridge and the pancake workout twice a week, but the middle splits workout only once a week. And then you do daily gentle mobility as well. You can either do it at the end of the Mobility Masterclass workouts, or but you need to have a 72-hour window minimum between each of those workouts. Then you'll move on to the Phase 2, and you'll do that. And then you move on to End Range Strength 1 and then End Range Strength 2. And each one of those phases that I've just spoken about should be done for a minimum of 8 weeks. Minimum. Absolute minimum. What you're looking for is there should be a change in the body. Something should visibly change with your flexibility before you move to the next one. And you'll see they start to get harder. Like some of the exercises in the pancake, you actually have to be able to lean forward to do it. Now, most people, when they start a pancake, they can barely sit upright. So if you haven't progressed to that point, you're not even ready to go to the next phase.
Yep.
And again, this ties in perfectly with what we're saying. How long does it take to do something, to achieve a skill, a calisthenics skill? Give yourself 6 months. Say, I'm going to do this for 6 months and I'm going to go all in on it. That doesn't mean you're going to kill yourself for 6 months. It just means you're going to do everything that we've spoken about in this show for 6 months, and then you reevaluate. And you have a look and you think, what do I need to tweak? What do I need to change?
Yeah. Some people are going to find that 6 months is ample time. Some people are going to find they hardly see progress in 6 months. If you're trying to overcome a postural issue and you're trying to do a handstand and you've got really bad posture in the upper cross, chest, shoulders, thoracic spine, you're going to hardly even get straight against a wall in 6 months, because you've got to first completely overcome that postural issue so that you can stack your shoulders properly. And for that reason, these sorts of things can be really frustrating, but that doesn't mean that you don't do them.
Yeah.
As Rad said before, time goes by. The time goes by exceptionally quick,
If you guys saw where Yanni and my bodies were 10 years ago, we were nothing compared to where we are now. My posture was so bad. Some of those old videos from our global fitness days at Fitness First came up once or twice, and I looked at myself and I cannot believe how bad I looked. Like, my posture was so bad, and I had the worst inflammation. Like, my gut was really poking out, my face was puffy because I was eating all the wrong foods. And, it's this little bit by bit by bit. And if you look at it from a week to week, month to month, sometimes even a year-to-year basis, there's not much that looks like it's changed in some things, like posture, like for me, my anterior pelvic tilt. But to look at me now, compared to where I was 10 years ago, it's life-changing. It's so different.
Yeah, that's right. Roger Talevsky certainly saw us 10 years ago.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, that's everything that we wanted to talk about today, Yanni. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about before we finish?
Big shout out to everyone who jumped on the merch wagon last night.
Yeah.
We officially launched Unity Gym merch yesterday, and it's cool stuff. We put a $1,200 order in ourselves, didn't we?
Yep, we did. Well, we're going to be decked out in
Unity Gym.
I'm going to be wearing t-shirts with my own face on it.
Yeah. So big shout out to Liz Morrison. We're actually going to have her on the show. As soon as we get our merch, we're going to do a official launch show, and we're going to get Liz, who's the designer of the merch, in to talk about where we're going to take this. We've got some really cool stuff coming up. We're going to do limited edition print runs on some of my favorite quotes for t-shirts, hoodies, things like that. It's going to be really cool. So watch this space. We've also, for everyone out there, we've also launched officially our affiliate program. Mm-hmm. For those on the podcast and watching the replay on YouTube, if you like what we do, if you believe in what we do, if you believe that the unification of strength, flexibility and cardio is very important, as we do, if you believe that you should be learning to move instead of just exercise, and that the health and fitness industry has it backwards, health should be measured by your performance, by how your body feels, not just how it looks, then you probably qualify to become an affiliate with us and to help spread the word and to come along for the journey. So
and make
hit us up.
50% of all of our online sales.
Yeah, that's right.
It's we're making it very attractive for any affiliates by giving away half of the commission. Half.
You get half. It's like a marriage.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like a marriage.
Yeah. It's highly valuable, and you literally don't have to learn anything. You get a link and you promote it, and if people buy it through that link, then done. So if you're somebody that's got any kind of influence over any kind of a tribe at all, then you are in a great position.
Or not. You can just share what you're doing and spread the love and, do it like that. So, guys, thank you for joining us. There's a few people in there talking about Steve Cavana also, very quickly, by the way, to start out, I couldn't work out what the fuss was about scapular moves, straight arm scapular strength he's referring to. However, after practice, I can push harder and it now does fatigue and gets hard. So you're starting to see the movement in the shoulders. The shoulders are unlocking. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, you've got to join the UMS at-home workouts. Today, Wednesday, is what we call straight arm scapular strength. It is a very, very important part of our UMS program. And for many of you who've never done it before, it's an awakening.
Yeah, it's
an awakening.
It's unreal.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to all of our new tribe members here at the Movement Mastermind. This group is growing at an astronomical rate, and we're super thrilled to have you all here. And we will see you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. If you liked it, consider subscribing to our channel and make sure you click the notification bell so you know when our weekly videos are uploaded. Now, the best thing for you to do if you want to stay connected with us and get free online coaching is to join our private Facebook group. It's called the UMS Movement Mastermind, and we go live daily where we answer our members' questions. It's very interactive because you can post questions while we're live and we interact with you on the show. You can also upload videos or pictures of yourself with any movements, any stretches, strength training movements, calisthenics, weightlifting, anything that you're struggling with, and we'll critique you, give you feedback, let you know how you can get better. It's a really valuable resource. It allows a lot of communication with us and also our senior tribe members. You'll get answers very, very quickly, and it's absolutely free. So jump on Facebook, search for UMS Movement Mastermind and join now. Until next time, have a great day.